My mom loves to garden, but doesn't really have a place where she can get it started. So, with the help of Pinterest, I took it upon myself to build her a place that she can use inside her home and get some starter plants going and hopefully build the garden that she's been looking for. So, stay tuned and follow me through the process of building this tabletop greenhouse out of picture frames with the help of Pinterest. So I'm just going to jump in right here and um, get into this. So I'm building a greenhouse using picture frames. Now I've got four 12 by 16 frames, which is what this is, and I also have four 12 by 12 frames. Um, so I'm taking everything apart. This is part of the My Pinspiration series. This is now episode 2. And this is kind of what kicked off these last two videos of mine. Um, I was looking on Pinterest and uh, I found this pin for this greenhouse, and it just kind of set off a chain reaction. So I don't know. Does anybody else do that? You find something and you just kind of have to do it. So these are the 12 by 12 frames. And Charlie wants to help narrate. So the four 12 by 16 frames have glass, and the four 12 by 12 frames have plastic. I'm not too happy about that, but it is what it is. So I'll take all of these apart too, take everything out. The pin here is the inspiration. Now, the original poster did this in 8 by 10 and 8 by 8, which, the saying, go big or go home. I probably should have just stayed in my lane actually. But no, I had to go bigger. So, yeah. Now, I made this for my mom, and if you saw last week's episode, I made a table out of scrap wood. And this is the second or companion piece to that, uh, where I made the table to put this on. And I made the table because I found this pin and I wanted to make this, and she didn't have a place for it. So, but, there you go. Build a table, build a greenhouse, Bob's your uncle. So it's been interesting. Next, I need to make sure I take out all the little clippies that held that plastic in place. Now I have all the pieces um, disassembled. And I'm going to go ahead and put together part of the front or the base. I don't know how you want to call it. I guess this is the front of the greenhouse. So the 12 by 12 frames are going to make up the front and the two sides, as you can kind of see here. I was trying to demonstrate. Um, these will all get glued together, and then I will do the back and the top. But first, I'm going to put the two front pieces together, and I'll just glue those together with some Gorilla Construction adhesive, and I will also use my trusty E6000. And I'll use some Surebonder hot glue with my Surebonder glue gun to just kind of tack it together just for the purposes of the video. But first I want to go ahead and give it a scuff sand. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper along that edge where it's going to get glued. Um, I can tell you I've learned a lot throughout this process, and if I had it to do over, I would certainly do it differently, which is usually the case when it's the first time doing a DIY. You learn as you go. Charlie agrees. So I gave it a scuff sand, and as you can, I don't know if you can tell there in the video, you can see it, kind of. lightening up there on the edges. Well, this is MDF. These frames are made with MDF and they are very slick. They're not rough, and even after a scuff sand, it didn't really do much more than take off the color. They're still very smooth. Um, but this did help on this part. Now, if I had a to do over, I would have scuff sanded all of it, assembled the whole thing, and then painted, and then put the glass back in. Had I followed the original poster's instructions, it might have worked out better for me, which you'll see in the end. I made it work anyway, but I could have done it better. And I probably will, again, do it better. All right, now as you can see here, I've got my Work Pro clamps. And if you watched last week's video, I introduced these clamps. I love these things. They're so nice. And I am going to use them for everything from now on. But once I get all my adhesive on, then I'm clamping everything together with these clamps. All right, there, as you can see, I am clamping them together, and I'll use a bunch of different clamps uh, to get it put together the way I need it. So I'll be taking the rest of these and putting together the two parts for the front or the back, the two parts for the top. Um, and then I'm going to spray paint the whole lot with some Rust-Oleum 2X white. Now I've got this piece. I'm just going to give it a scuff sand with 120 grit and smooth, rough that up. And I've got it spray painted there, as you can see. Next will be assembly. All right, I've got it all spray painted, and now I have to drill some pilot holes for my hinges. And I will drill them into the top part there where my hinges are going to go. So I can get a more precise measurement, I guess. I'm taking my hinge and I'm going to mark the holes for both sides of the hinge on the top and then on the back part where I'm going to be screwing these in. And these are just hinges I got from Amazon. They're nothing special. They didn't even come with the screws. I had to find screws. And just marking with pencil the centers of the holes so I can drill my pilot holes and get those assembled. So I'm just using the little screwdriver thingy I have. This whole process has been the last 2 weeks have just been challenging. I'm just screwing that in. The next I need to attach it to the back part. Again, drilling my pilot holes before I screw the hinges in. And then adding the glass will be the last step. This is the front and the sides, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these together with the same E6000 and construction adhesive. And I was going to use the dowels, but I didn't. Um, I may go back and do that, reinforce it now that I have the glass in. I may just do that. But as it is now, using E6000, the acrylic construction adhesive, going to put the sides together, clamp it all together. And as you can see here, I'm using my corner clamps to get that side clamped to the front. Used one of my 6-inch bar clamps to hold it in place so I could get the corner clamp on. I need more of these corner clamps. I'm realizing that I need at least 6 more. um, and I will link everything in the description box below that I can find that I used to make this project. You could easily get these, not these frames, but you can get frames from, the Dollar Tree, um, wherever you find your frames for cheap. You could certainly do that. I ordered mine from Amazon because I was getting a different size than what was available to me locally, which you can do that, and I'll link those as well. But keep in mind the 12 by 12 frames that I ordered did not have glass. They had plastic. So if that's a deal breaker for you, don't get those. And now I have the glass in, and I guess I lost the footage of that, but I'm just taking some silicone caulking and going around the inside. So what I did was I used E6000 on the inside lip and put the clear fronts back in. And after that, then I'm using the silicone caulking on the back side of it, so it's like a double seal. And I brought it inside because we're having some crazy weather. Um, you're watching this is the 18th, and I was filming this on the 16th. Yeah, we're having some super crazy weather. I'll insert a clip here. This is what I have to contend with right now. Just heard thunder. So, yeah. I have all of the fronts in, and it's time to add the back and the top to the front and the sides. I'm carefully going to do this because the top and the back have glass, and I have to be very, very careful. It was super windy. I nearly dropped the thing twice, so I'm again going to use E6000 and construction adhesive and my corner clamps and my bar clamps to put the sides in the front to the back. Right now I have it all clamped together with multiple different kinds of clamps to ensure that it's, sturdy. I also added a third hinge right there in the center to help, hold the extra weight from that glass for the top. So my last step is, if you see those gaps on the sides, I'm going to take some of the leftover backer board to cut little triangles to glue in there. And I will paint those white as well to match everything else. So let's take a look at the final reveal of the greenhouse and a full shot of that table. Here it is in my mom's house. And let me just say, this was a challenging project. Turned out better than I thought, but it could have been better than it was. Some of her plant starts are in there, and I've also included a couple of vases that I made for her, out of cement, and I will have that video up as an exclusive to my Buy Me a Coffee fans. All of the links will be below if you want to check into that too. This was a really fun set to put together for her. It's so hard to plant here in Texas for her sometimes, and I wanted to give her a place where she could start some plant babies. Um, yeah, so it was really fun. Here's the table in its entirety. It's kind of dark in this setting, and I'll include some pictures here so you can see just how it looks. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you like this content, would you consider subscribing? Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I have new uploads. Currently, I am posting Saturdays around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I only posted last week on Sunday because I was late. These last 2 weeks have been really hectic, so. But most of the time, Saturday is when I have my new videos. Make sure to check the description box for links to the stuff that I used, also for my Buy Me a Coffee page, where I also put up regular posts to the public to see about these projects. And I also, like I said, I'm having exclusive posts coming up, other perks, things like that. Check that out. All that is below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care, y'all. Bye.